I'm Madhu Sharma and this is Design Mind. Every episode we teach your mind about design by analysing a website. In this episode of Design Mind, we are looking at jewellery website Abby Seymour. The website is an excellent example of clean, simple and elegant design. The front page starts with this slideshow that fills the screen. The page only has 3 slides, all of which show the same model with selected products. I'm in 2 minds about this design. The simplicity is wonderful as it really lets the product stand out. On the other hand, the use of the same model gets repetitive, especially as there are only 3 items. With some of the items on this site costing over $2,000, it's clear that Abby Seymour is aiming at the high end. High-end products usually employ clean and simple designs to communicate messages of elegance and prestige. While the rest of the site does an excellent job of utilizing a simplistic design, this particular slideshow looks more plain than simple. Scroll down and we get this product grid which, unlike the slideshow, does an excellent job of creating a simplistic and elegant high-end design. The design takes clean to the max, as it doesn't even have any text or prices. In many ways, there isn't even a grid, as the use of cutout images hides the grid structure, allowing it to feel more organic. Normally, not displaying the titles of products would create confusion, but it works here wonderfully, as the products are very visual, which removes the need for titles. Perhaps the only weakness is that there isn't enough space between the items, which can leave the grid looking busy, but the strong design of each item stops this from being off-putting. Hovering over the products displays the titles and pricing information. It's a shame that the titles weren't placed up a little higher, as the gap between the image and text looks untidy. At the top of the grid is this filter, which is really handy given the sheer volume of products that are initially displayed. It uses a low-key design, presumably to avoid distracting attention away from the products, but it suffers from being too faint, which might cause users to miss it. Ironically, when clicking on the filter, it opens a menu that suffers from the opposite problem, as this menu is far too dark. It's by no means a major issue, but given the clean and elegant nature of the site, it is a bit jarring. Let's analyse the product pages. The product pages continue the image-first approach of the site by being split into 2 columns. The image is the sole occupant of the first column, allowing it to be a fairly large size. The second column houses all the text information. It does a good job of utilizing bullets and paragraphs to break up the text. The only downside is the Add to Cart button. It is labelled Place an Order. This is an unusual choice of words, as on the web, cart buttons are usually labelled Purchase or Buy Now. I must admit, when I first saw Place an Order, I assumed that meant the button was just for pre-ordering and wouldn't allow actual purchases. Scroll down and there is a Related Products section. It uses the design of the category page and works really well as it avoids attracting attention away from the main product. Let's analyse some of the other pages on the site. This is the Maker page. Again, the design is very clean, starting off with a large grid of images and ending with a text paragraph. The small font size and grey colour of the text keeps it low-key and non-distracting. Unfortunately, the text suffers from being too lengthy, making it tempting for users to skip over it. The design would have worked better if they had included a pull quote that summed up Abby's personality at a glance. The photos are also weak, as they don't really have a strong focus on Abby. In particular, this weak focus prevents her from appearing as an authority on design, which makes it harder for the audience to put their faith in her. The workshop page also uses a clean style, but the approach doesn't work as well as there's just too much text to wade through. It would have been better if they had used a content slider that listed all the course titles. This would have provided the user with an instant overview of all the courses, removing the need to scroll through the whole page. Other pages include Stockist and Commissions. These actually work well with the clean style, but they don't have any really notable design features. Let's have a look at the shopping cart. The shopping cart is accessed by clicking on this icon, which has been poorly implemented. The icon is only visible on the product and home pages. Worse still, it doesn't appear at the top of the screen where the user would expect to see it, but instead is awkwardly placed midway down. It doesn't help that its muted style makes it very easy to miss. On a website, the shopping cart should always be easy to access. On this site, the user will waste a lot of time hunting for it, which could cause them to lose interest in completing a purchase. The actual shopping cart itself is quite well laid out, making it easy for the user to quickly see which items they are going to order. Let's analyze the site on mobile.
The mobile design is mostly similar to desktop. The images have too much space around them, which makes the pages longer than they need to be, resulting in lots of scrolling, but it isn't too much of an issue.
Mobile platforms don't usually allow for hovering, so the site quite wisely reworks the grid layout by making sure that the titles and price information are permanently displayed under the photos. The navigation collapses into this menu that works adequately. However, much like the filter menu we looked at earlier, the darker background colour is quite a jarring change from the rest of the site. In conclusion, Abby Seymour is a great example of a clean website. In some places, certain elements such as the shopping cart icon suffer from being too simple. However, on the whole, the clean design creates an upmarket, opulent look that complements the items being sold. That's it for this episode of Design Mind. A new episode of Design Mind is released every Monday and Thursday. Find us on the web at designmind.info. Our YouTube channel is at youtube.com/designmindinfo. You can also find us on iTunes. We'd love it if you could leave us a review at any of these places. Until next time, happy designing!